Welcome everybody back to another episode of Two Fat Guys in a Dream. Of course, I'm your host of the most, Truman the Steam Machine Steen. As always, I'm joined here by my father and partner in weight loss crime, Scott Steen. Scott, how are you doing? Couldn't figure out if I want to say your nickname or not. I always do it.
It's all right. I thought you walked up on my last name.
Yeah, Scott. Scott, my father, Steen. That's my
There
nickname
you
for you on
go.
this show. Yeah,
It's good to be here.
good to be back.
Good to
Good to
be
be
on this
here.
journey. Got the Halloween. You got Halloween. You got Thanksgiving coming next week, so we're going to be talking about that. Some strategies you can implement to lessen the blow on your diet.
Yep.
Good luck.
Yep, we're gonna do that. But first, we'll start here. We'll catch up with a little bit of our weight loss journey ourselves. Scott, my challenge for this week, we did it last week, was I worked on mindful eating, and that has been a big tool for me. I managed to weigh in at 244.5 this week. It means I lost a pound for the week. Brings my
Nice,
total
nice.
means I lost 1.23% of my goal this week, 45.40%. It helped me slow down. It was one of those where you get out of the rhythm of doing like a mindful eating and you do something like that, and it makes you really think about how you've been eating for the last couple. Like, you're like, man, how long have I been eating like a dog who just came in from outside? You know, it's like, how long have I been eating just that quickly and that rushed?
Right.
And that's so it kind of helped me realize just how fast I've been eating, how much I hadn't been tasting my food. I did, again, I would split the half. And, not only was I splitting the meal in half and taking 15 minutes in between, a big part of it was taking the 10 to 15 minutes, especially when you're eating a meal by yourself. If you eat that first half of that meal and you're like, okay, I want to eat this over a 10-minute period, that will help you, that will show you just how fast you eat. When you're like, when you're like, man, I gotta, it forces you to set it down more often, it forces you to start to think about some things, take breaths and bites in between your food, and you really start to eat well. So doing that for me this week was really beneficial, and just not only taking the break, but also lengthening out the amount of time I'm eating that food over.
So you eat your first half in 10 minutes, take a 15-minute break, eat your second half in 10 minutes.
I guess I was going 10, 10, 10. Sorry. 10-minute
Okay.
blocks. 10 minutes, 10 minutes.
All right. Well, that seems reasonable. That's 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So then you're not,
And
if you still have to go a little quickly, then you're not hurting too bad.
so other than the fact that it kind of illustrates how quickly you eat, does it help you feel full earlier, more full?
Full earlier, for sure. And if I am going to eat, it's one of those things where, it's two-pronged. You can't just eat slow and then still stuff yourself silly and then go, okay, well, glad I did that. It is
I'm going to have
eating.
the first 4 donuts in 10 minutes and take 10-minute break and then have the other 4 donuts.
Right. It's sitting there, and after you've had that half a meal, when you come back, you're supposed to really think, man, am I still actually hungry? And maybe you have a little bit and you're eating that and you're like, okay, I'm full now. And I've even noticed that we're on times where there have been times where I'm like, you know what? I'm treating myself a little bit this meal. I want to stuff myself just a little bit. And I notice how much more full I am because I ate that meal slow basis compared to how I was. And so you have to get comfortable with asking for a box a little earlier, or even comfortable throwing away, a 1/3 of your burger, because if you put that in the fridge, if you wrap that up and put that in the fridge, you are just refrigerating your garbage that you're going to throw out later. Nobody's ever warmed up a McDonald's quarter-pound cheeseburger and felt good about it,
I'm sure that's true.
other than the people at
I'm sure.
McDonald's, I guess.
I wonder if the people at McDonald's eat at McDonald's. I'm guessing they don't.
No, I just mean the workers microwaving the quarter pounder with cheese before they give it to me.
Oh, well, yeah. The first time, sure.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree. And it's another thing that your mom always talked about was the fact that your body is about 10, 15 minutes behind how full you actually are.
Yes.
and it's why why you sit at the Thanksgiving table and you just feel more and more stuffed, even though you stopped eating.
Yeah. And like we had a Friendsgiving, so I, indulged a little bit. I went back and got the favorites. You go back and you get that second plate. We're going to talk about probably strategies to not go back and get that second plate here later. But I
Well,
did.
make the second plate a little healthier, I think, is what you should be shooting for.
Yeah, yeah. And so, but even like in that time, I still felt pretty damn stuffed on a meal that would have barely satisfied me before. So it's just the little
Right.
things you notice. And, not only that, I will say mindful eating, if you're taking breaks and you're taking moments in between your food, makes you a better dinner guest also because it, whenever you're trying to slow down eating, what helps? Talking to people. So you're not, it helps and it doesn't help too. If you have ADHD, you might notice yourself just like mindlessly while you're eating, just you stop thinking about what your hands are doing and you just by habit eat food. Like I've had that where I've got to, if I'm at my desk doing this, I pick it up and I set it off to the side because I'm worried I'm going to start eating or I'm going to be
Yep.
working and just picking up the food. And like if I leave it there, there'll be times like I'm working and I go ooh, and then I set it away.
Well, I've been out to dinner with your mom before and had like something with fries, and I get done with the entree and I've eaten about half the fries,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll put the plate over by her. Otherwise, I'll just sit there and mindlessly eat the other half of the fries for no reason at all.
I throw a napkin. I put a little napkin on. I put the napkin on my plate. Then it makes me. I'm done. It
That's
also
not bad.
helps signal to a waiter or waitress to come grab it, and that helps to your server. But you know, if you throw a little napkin on it. So,
Very true.
all right, Scott, let's talk about your week.
All right,
You
let's do it.
you weighed in at 295.7. Means you lost
That's all right.
1.4 pounds. That's just over 1% of your goal. Brings you to 27.66% of your goal overall.
Okay.
It's a good week after you had gone up the last 2 weeks in a row. The
Yep.
last two weigh-ins in a row, 1.6 and then zero point 0.7. So going back down to 1.4 is nice. Get you back on track there. Uh,
Yep.
we're basically about a week and a couple days out from Thanksgiving. I know that I'm probably going to. It's a pie in the sky to be able to hit my goal of being under 240 by Thanksgiving here. But regardless, moving in the right direction for both of us is huge, and it'll be huge to see how we maintain this through Thanksgiving. What have you kind of do these couple weeks kind of leading up to it?
Yeah. Well, I finally I made the big adjustment I made in my life. I ended up getting two more locks for the refrigerator and the freezer to lock them up at night. I found myself I don't know, last Thursday or one of the Friday, but one of those nights, getting up in the middle of the night and cooking a mini frozen pizza that your mom likes taking the cheese ones to work, but they also have pepperoni that she won't eat. So I know those are just in there.
Yep, yep.
So 90 seconds in the microwave and you have a reasonable facsimile of a pizza. So yeah, like 4 o'clock in the morning, I made myself one of those and ate it, and got up the next day and went, that's fuck enough of that. So
Yeah, right.
broke down, got the locks, and have had great success ever since. My big setback this week was uh, my daughter's coming over and making a real nice tuna casserole and everything like that. A lot of stuff that I shouldn't be eating. We made some cookies. They brought home cookies
Oh man.
from the store. So I was
Yeah.
I wanted to show Nina and Sydney my cool peanut butter cookie recipe that I found. Just basically three ingredients, and you got peanut butter cookies. So
Gotcha.
I showed off there, and then had a bunch of leftover peanut butter cookies. So yeah, it was. It's been a step in the. It's been two steps forward, one step back, as opposed to two steps forward, three steps back, which is what we've been on. I've
Yeah.
been on. So
Right.
yeah, and we talk a lot about it's you once you get to a certain age, you've got habits that are ingrained, and you can spend a lot of time trying to figure out the habits, trying to overcome the habits, or you can just figure out workarounds. And that's instead of spending thousands of dollars on therapy trying to figure out why I eat in the middle of the night and then trying to curb that, I decided to spend $7 on 2 refrigerator locks and, put them on there and call it good.
Yeah.
So
No. Absolutely. It is. You have to. There are. You can just find the quick workarounds, and that helps. And and a lot of the times when you're doing those quick workarounds, you start to realize why in a way you start to realize why you're doing this or why you're doing what you're doing, where especially if your body starts to try to work around those workarounds, you're like, wait, why am I doing this right now? And you're like, oh, it's
right,
because.
well, see, and that's the thing, uh, I had gotten so used to it because I had the locks at the old place that I'd gotten out of the habit of eating in the middle of the night, and that's why I foolishly thought I could come over here, just maintain those same habits, and for a while that worked, up until it didn't. So
Right. Yeah.
anyway,
Well,
so yeah, that's a good week, and I'm hoping to keep it going. That's going to be a challenge for Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving, Jesus, uh, let's uh, let's talk about that.
Missouri
You're
coming up.
hosting this. You're hosting this for the family this year.
I am. I am
Uh,
hosting
unlike
Thanksgiving.
unlike past years, we won't walk down and see the plaza lights being turned on.
It's true.
Um,
We could drive down there still, but no, I'm no
and that
longer on the plaza. No,
that is something I have no interest in doing. Although you do have a great parking spot,
it's fair. It's
as long
fair.
as they don't change the code for the garage.
Yeah,
You've got a great parking spot for that.
that's,
But
that's what I'm thinking.
no, I don't think that's going to work out with our plans at all. I don't see taking a 3 hour chunk of time to go watch the Plaza Lights.
No, probably not. But
You
while
just
we
turn on
talk,
the Plaza Lights. Tech Nine.
I know, Tekanita, yes. But while we talk about Thanksgiving, let's talk about a couple tips and tricks to eating Thanksgiving, eating
All
it,
right.
going about it
Well,
healthily.
all right. So let's go. Let's start with the premise that you're going to cheat. That if
Right.
you're whatever you're on, you're going to have something that isn't healthy. If you're low carb, you're going to eat some bread. You're going to eat some stuffing. You're going to eat some potatoes. If you're low fat, you're going to have some pie. You're going to have some
Gonna have some
stuffing. You're going to have
gravy.
some
Yeah.
roll.
Yeah.
You're going to have some gravy.
Yeah.
So no matter what plan you're on, for the most part, I guess if you're a vegetarian, you have a little tofurkey, and that wouldn't be bad. Everything else is pretty vegetarian friendly. But I think if you start with the mindset that you're probably not going to adhere exactly to your diet,
Yeah.
I think that's good because number one, it keeps you from beating yourself up,
Right.
and it keeps you from once you if you sometimes it's a slippery slope. So
Sure.
if you say, well, I've had a roll, I might as well just I'm off. It's over. I'm low carb and I had a roll, so fuck it. I might as well just have 7 pieces of pie or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Right. Well, it's a lot of like we talk about calorie counting, and it's saying, okay, I know that I'm gonna have this for lunch. There's a 1,200 calorie lunch that is unhealthy, but now that I know that that's in there, what am I gonna do for breakfast? What am I gonna do for dinner? I gotta have a plan. And so, again, it's like saying that, okay, I'm gonna have that piece of pie. Outside of that piece of pie, what am I gonna do to correct that? Am I gonna have, And so let's talk about one thing that I actually implemented with my Friendsgiving this weekend. I think a lot of times you go to Thanksgiving, you're at the mercy of kind of what other people are cooking and what other people are bringing, and you're saying, well, I'm bringing the stuffing, so okay, I can do whatever I can do with that. But I know that they're gonna make mac and cheese, and I know they're gonna make full fat potatoes, and I know they're gonna do they're gonna fry the turkey or whatever. I know that that's gonna
hmm
go on. So you go, okay, so what I implemented at this Friendsgiving, I knew everybody was bringing that, so I picked up one of these. I was actually snacking on this before the show started because I was getting hungry. It's just a veggie tray. I mean, think about giving
oh,
yourself more
crudité.
options. Yeah, yeah. Just give yourself a little option. Give yourself an out. Bring it. I brought this veggie tray. I like what I my plan originally was to pick up like a salad to just have on the side, and then because what I've also implemented when I'm at these buffets or I'm at these like luncheons for work and stuff, I load up my plate like half salad, and I go, okay, there's
hmm
vegetables, there's a good hearty serving of vegetables. And not only that, but it also shrinks how much room I have left to put the bad stuff on. You know, where I go,
Yeah,
okay,
I
if
think
half my plate's this, then half my plate can't get that bad, you know?
yeah, I think that's and I think that it works the same way in your body too, not just your plate.
Oh yeah.
If you're filling up the space in your stomach with the cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and cauliflower, or pretty dense for sure. It's just more space that's not going to be taken up by pie.
Yeah.
It
Absolutely.
just is. You're going to be more full at the end of the meal if you snack your ass off on veggies beforehand.
If you like stuffing yourself, stuff yourself the first half of the way with healthy stuff. And
Hmm.
then whenever you're about to hit your limit, you say, "Oh, well, okay, I'm not going to finish off this rest of my unhealthy stuff." Instead of doing the unhealthy stuff and saying, "Well, I'll top it off with some vegetables or whatever." And then you're like, "All right, I ate some vegetables." Reverse it. Flip it.
Yeah, well, because a lot of times you put vegetables on your plate, and you got a bunch of other stuff that's better. Vegetables are going to kind of get unnoticed, or eaten at the very end. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So that would be one of my goals is bring something. Bring something healthy that give yourself options if you know that you're going to be limited on options. And again, you're going to want to eat other people's stuff. It's a big part of Thanksgiving is trying what people bring. But again, just
mhm.
give yourself an out, give yourself an option. Um I've seen a couple things that I'm looking at now online. Reducing cream, maybe think about using even a whole milk instead of a cream. You know, you save enough fat and still you get a little bit of creaminess. Greek
What are you
yogurt is
using
another
cream for?
option.
What are we
Uh,
making?
Mashed potatoes, creamy soups,
Oh,
kind of.
yeah.
You know, if you're doing cream spinach, if you're one of those people. Green bean casseroles, another one of those options where there's a cream of mushroom normally in that, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure how you get around that, but I would maybe. You might be able to make kind of instead of a cream of mushroom, you might be able to make a Greek yogurt substitute for cream of mushroom would be my guess.
I'm not sure how much cream is actually in the cream of mushroom.
That's fair.
That'd be an interesting question
But you
because
might, and
it's pretty.
I mean, there might be low fat cream of mushroom options also.
I bet there are. Sure, if you're worried about fat, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm seeing it now. Campbell's 98% fat free cream of mushroom is an option. Yeah. So there are just, and that's just like little things you could throw in there that probably honestly you won't miss that much. I don't think with
No.
like a green bean casserole or with a mashed potatoes if you're using milk instead of cream probably will be okay. Uh, obviously,
Oh,
probably,
100%.
yeah. And just,
And it's also not something if you're doing low carbs, it's also not something you have to worry about.
it's true. That's true. Um,
So, but if you're just trying to keep it all over healthy, I think just as a general rule, subbing out milk for cream, probably a good idea.
yeah. Yeah. We talk a lot about being low carb on this show. So, turkey itself, fairly healthy meat. It's not red
Sure.
meat. It's not high in cholesterol. It's fairly lean. Listen, I put butter in my turkey. I put it in the cavities. I put a little bit under the skin. Helps crisp it up. Helps keep it nice and
Sure.
moist. Listen, I'll say it. I do it, but it still is going to be healthier than a ham, probably, especially a honey baked
Oh, sure.
ham, where you're not only is it ham, but it's sugary ham.
Well, it's got a ton of sodium because of preserving the ham. You hang a ham, and to preserve it, you got to put a ton of sodium in it.
Yes, yeah, that is
So,
there is a lot of sodium on a Thanksgiving table in general. So it's definitely something to
hmm
keep your eyes on when
yep, 100%.
you can help
Uh,
help reduce it. Maybe
Now,
some low sodium broths here or there with your stuffing or your gravies, and again maybe not adding as much to your mashed potatoes and things like that. But or again cutting back ham and instead using a little more turkey.
yeah, something I'd like to try is, if you go for that second plate, make sure it's a little healthier. To go ahead and take your first plate where you sample everything, but take small portions.
Yeah,
Take a half a portion of dressing, half a portion of mashed potatoes and gravy, load up on turkey,
Hmm.
and then when you go back, try to lean heavily on the things that aren't as bad. Try to lean heavily on the turkey. Eat. I'm a white and dark meat fan. I like both.
Hmm.
Whatever you like, load up. Throw a little gravy on the turkey. Nothing wrong with gravy. It's going to be pretty low carb for the most part. So it's
Yeah.
going to have a little flour in it, but you're all right.
Yeah.
And try to limit the shitty stuff that you have, because there's enough. There should be enough items on the Thanksgiving table to fill you up without going seriously overboard. As far as going off your plan goes.
Yeah. Absolutely. This
So
will always be kind of a conversation in moderation. Moderation. I mean, it should be moderation will always be a conversation in anything you do with weight loss, but especially Thanksgiving's a great example. I'm seeing a couple
yeah.
other
Um,
tricks here. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was going to say, watch the beverages, watch the empty calories. As always, try to have a soda, tea, water or tea, as far as unsweet tea, of course,
Mm-hmm.
instead of sugary soda. That's a big one. Um, that's just, again, we talk about, just 150, 200 empty calories
Mm-hmm.
that do have no benefit for you whatsoever. So,
Yeah, I'm even seeing.
at least, well, I was just gonna say, at least if you're eating, mashed potatoes or dressing, there's some semblance of food there. There's some vitamins in potatoes, and there's some fiber in bread or whatever. But there's no redeeming qualities to soda. Absolutely none.
Yeah, and if you're somebody who's gonna have a glass of wine, I'm seeing an option of making a spritzer. You could add a little bit
Hmm.
of a little carbonated soda, add maybe a little glass, maybe a little squeeze of lime on top. Not only is it light and refreshing, it's well, I guess I already said it. I gave it away. It's light, which is nice. And again, also if you're gonna have soda, I almost feel the same way about if you're like, okay, I'm gonna have a soda, I'm gonna have a little alcoholic drink. I feel almost the same way that we talked about earlier with eating half of your plate as salad. Drink a water first. There's a there's a good chance that I've realized this in my life that if I drink a water whenever I start to eat a meal, and if I say, all right, I'm gonna drink this whole water before I drink this soda, a lot of my
Hmm.
soda drinking is just because I'm thirsty during the meal,
Yep.
And if
Yep.
instead of while you're in between bites and you need a little bit of liquid, instead of picking up that soda, which you're not even tasting the soda at that point, instead if you pick up that water to help that go down, not only will it help it go down, but you're also you're not it will help it go down better, but you're also not just adding calories to that bite that you didn't even need that you're not even tasting. That's if you're gonna do any of these things and use the calories for bad things, you better taste it, man. You better take your time and enjoy it. I mean, that's what I've kind of started to think about when it comes to soda or when it comes to eating bad things. That's why I'm still gonna have a slice of pecan pie. I'm probably gonna take it slow. I'm gonna do a little mindful eating. Gonna eat a little half that piece. Maybe skip the. I'm also a big fan of skipping the end of the crust. I don't love crust that much on a pie where you
Okay.
can cut out a fair amount of lard if you just don't eat the edge of your pie.
That's
Listen,
very true.
that's a simple little hack. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you should try to avoid the pie, but if that's not on your plan, if that's not on your plans for the day, I would advise taking a smaller piece,
Hmm.
maybe trying a half a piece, and yeah, like you said, leaving as much crust as you can, because that's just flour and lard. It's like an
Right.
unfried donut.
Yeah. A couple other tips and tricks here. I see eat a breakfast. Again, we talked about kind of that intermittent fasting when you got to uh, when you finally get to eat. When I would get like almost in a feeding frenzy because I was so hungry and I just eat so much food so fast. So not only
Right.
eating breakfast helps kind of balance you out for that day, so you're not stuffing yourself and just eating and eating and eating because you're so hungry, and then realizing you've eaten way too much that you even needed. So maybe if you have a light eggs, have a little, have a couple hard boiled eggs, maybe grab a little, egg McMuffin or something, not just make something at home. But if you have to, if obviously there's a lot of cooking in the kitchen on a Christmas day. Nobody upset if you run and grab a couple, healthier breakfast sandwich options or something like that. Maybe even what they got the egg white bites over at Starbucks. listen, there are options if you want to not cook breakfast on Thanksgiving and still want to have a little bit of a healthy breakfast, and so that way you're not getting that feeding frenzy once you hit the actual Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of having a big breakfast on Thanksgiving because most people, at least in our family, we don't eat till generally 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
We're one of the latest Thanksgivings, I feel like, probably.
Probably true. Um, so yeah, I would definitely advise having a breakfast. You don't have to have a huge breakfast. You know, one of those breakfasts where you're not hungry until 6 o'clock at night. But definitely have a couple eggs, something like that.
Hmm.
Just put a little base in there so you don't hit the door starving. So you're
Yeah.
hitting all the appetizers. You got your hands in the chips. You got your hands in the nuts.
Yep.
Um, all the sweets that are sitting out before the meal. So it'll
Veggie
it'll
tray.
help curb that a little
Target a
bit.
veggie tray. You're gonna have an hors d'oeuvre. Have a
Bring
little.
it, bring it. Yeah, and if somebody's not bringing a veggie tray, bring your own.
Yeah. Who cares? Nobody's gonna make fun of you. Well, maybe they make fun of you, but who cares? You're gonna make fun of me for bringing the veggie tray, man. Yeah. Okay, dude. All right. Get over it.
And again, because yeah, who's going to do that? It's a family thing. So
Right.
hopefully your family. I mean, you probably got that one Trumpy uncle, but other than that loser, nobody gives a shit about. Then you're going to be fine.
Yeah. Last thing I've seen. Well, one I will say both of these. I'm looking at Consumer Reports and medicalwesthospital.org if you're looking for any more tips and tricks on Thanksgiving. This is where we got some of our stuff. One, I did see somebody. They both mention concentrating on your meal and or slowly savoring, as one of them called it. Again, we talked about that mindful eating. This is a great time to catch up with your family. Sit there, have conversations, make connections, set down your fork. You don't need to, look up from your plate. Just think about it. Something
Well,
else.
if you watch
Oh,
if you watch people eat, there's a lot of times you still got food in your mouth. You put another bite in.
yeah,
What are you doing? What do you do? It's like people that light the one cigarette off the other one. Like, take a break.
yeah.
Fucking
Maybe
let it go.
let it
Yeah, very good.
let it sit, let it savor. And the last one I saw, and this is this is not slang. Sometimes people use this as slang, but this is not slang. This says take a walk between dinner and dessert, and I don't mean go take a walk away from the family with your cousins like you used to do when you're 19 and go smoke some weed and then come back and then you're hungrier for dessert. Don't do that. Don't just actually maybe just get up and walk. I always said it was kind of a benefit of like being in Chicago was that if you went and ate a big meal somewhere, that after the meal you're gonna go and walk home, and that just helps that food like sit and settle, and it'll also let you know if you are really uncomfortably full. So if you stand up, go for a walk, exercise just a little bit, you're going to kind of I think you won't be needing as much dessert, and you'll feel better by the time you're ready to eat dessert also.
Yeah, I agree.
You know,
Try to
we're
time it with that Dallas game.
yeah, exactly. We've never been a 5K on Thanksgiving family, thank God. But uh, there is some benefit to doing like something like that, like a 5K on Thanksgiving, because you know, again, you set yourself up being I know that I focus better and control my cravings better when I'm working out and being healthy to start the day.
Yeah, very true. Because it's more real, especially when you see calories burned. You're like, well, I just burned 400 calories, and you look at a piece of pie, it's 320 calories. Like, damn, I just
Just
worked out
just,
for nothing.
just spent 45 minutes for this piece of pie. I think
It
about
better
that
be good.
anytime I see a big anytime I think about getting a big soda at Quick Trip or my I used to when I was in that rut, I used to get like two Quick Trip taquitos and a bottle of soda. And thinking back, that
Right?
was like I think about 700 to 800 calories, and
Yeah.
that's what I burn in about a 1 hour workout in the morning. So it is crazy to think that I basically wasted an hour of my life or an hour of working out because I just wanted not even and food that makes me not feel good in the morning. Also
And you also wasted the 5 minutes of quick trip buying shit you didn't want to eat.
exactly, yeah, and fucking navigating that fucking parking lot. All right, so there you go. Thanksgiving tips. We talked about it. Maybe think about replacing some ingredients with healthier options. Think about bringing healthy foods. Think about maybe taking a walk, being a little active. Slow down while you're eating. have a conversation. Concentrate on your meal. Just slowly savor some things. And again, just be smart. Have a plan. That's a big part of it, is having a plan. That's why we talk about like the eating breakfast. Again, that's all part of the plan. If you have an outline, listen, I'm gonna tell you, your plan probably ain't gonna go perfect on the day of, and that'll be okay. It'll all be okay. But having a plan is better than having absolutely no plan and then just do in freestyle in it, because you won't do great. So having a plan is the biggest one here, and that's why we're here talking today.
Well, very good. I'm convinced.
Yeah. There you go. There, we've set you up for Thanksgiving. No one's gaining weight over Thanksgiving, I'm sure. We appreciate you guys for being here this week. We appreciate you for hanging out. You guys check us out over on Twitter, at Steam Machine, at Steam Roller down there. On YouTube, go to Open Disaster Productions. We've been posting this. We're up to 80 subscribers.
Outstanding. The other thing I was going to suggest is that perhaps make sure that your days leading it, make sure you have a really good Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah.
Make sure those days are outstanding. So if you can lose a couple pounds over those 2 days, if you can work out an extra time, any 50-50 balls on your food, don't do it. So maybe you set yourself up. So even if you gain 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds on Thanksgiving, you're still okay for the week.
Yeah.
So
when we talked about calorie counting, one of the approaches was calorie counting all for the week in a week format, where if you you're going to have 25 or 100 to 3,000 calories on Thursday, maybe go 1,400, 1,400, 1,400. So you're freeing up 1,800 extra calories, or on a 2,000 calorie, so then you've got 3,500 calories ready to go on that day. And then you go crazy.
We never tried that to see if it would work, but I think putting some in the bank and having good results prior to Thanksgiving will make your week a lot better.
Absolutely. All right. So that being said, we do appreciate you guys for being here, the dreamers, the believers, even the fat guys. Again, appreciate you subscribing, liking, doing all that on YouTube. You got one more?
I got one more. Don't let Thanksgiving turn into a 4-day fucking bacchanal.
Yep.
Don't take half the pie home. Don't take all the mashed potatoes. Don't take the dressing. Don't let it turn into a whole weekend of debauchery. Have your meal, get it done, and anything you take home, make sure it's something that fits your plan.
Yeah. Well, and if you've got leftovers, again, even better, because the thing about Thanksgiving is you almost have that FOMO of missing out on the food once it's gone, once somebody takes it home. Guess what? If those leftovers are at your house, meal prep it. Meal prep that shit. Just if you've got 5,000 calories worth of Thanksgiving food left over, okay, meal prep it over 5 days. Then you get to enjoy that meal 5 times, and you will feel very satisfied about what you had for Thanksgiving. And it was just 1,000 calories, or if it's 4,000 calories worth, or 3,000 calories, again, 600, 800, 1,000. Instead of sitting down on that weekend and it's on Friday having, making the double decker Thanksgiving leftover sandwich with the moist maker in between, instead of having that with a 3,000 calorie sandwich on Friday and a 2,000 calorie sandwich on Saturday, and a 2,000 calorie sandwich on Sunday, just keep it small, eat it light. It fits in. It's just a little lunch. It's just a little breakfast. It's just a little here or there. Get creative with it, man. Do a little eggs and turkey in the morning or something.
Very good. Again, I like that.
We talked about it. But yeah. All right. Appreciate you guys. I think I already said it all.
Take care, everybody.
Essentially. Yeah, we will see you guys next week as we it'll probably release on Thanksgiving, or probably just the day before Thanksgiving. Yeah. We'll figure it out. But you'll get it. You'll get it out. But we'll see you guys next week. See ya.